But I never judged him because I knew that, he had lived his a whole life before he had me, and things happened, and I couldn't ever think to walk a mile in his shoes. So who was I to judge him or question, how he decided to live his life and deal with the issues that he was dealing with? But he was my first supporter. He always had my back, no matter what. In his eyes, I was always right, unless it was against Grandpa. Nobody could make Grandpa wrong. he, when I was little, he would always bring me snacks and lunches after work, even if Grandma didn't like it. He would take me places and show me new things. He always told me how much he loved me, how proud he was of me. And I knew it wasn't just words because he didn't say it with a straight face. He always said it, sometimes with a tear in his eyes, sometimes with a crack in his voice. And even though I would, roll my eyes like, "Oh, Daddy, you just being sensitive," deep down inside, it was the best gift he could ever given me, because I knew how much he cared about me. We used to sing together, dance together. He tried his best to teach me how to hand dance, but he was like, "You got two left feet, you just uncoordinated." he would he was the type person where he'd tell you how he feel, straight, no chaser. Sometimes it wasn't the best way to say what he wanted to say, but he always had a good heart. He always wanted the best for you. And he was the type of person where if you needed something and he had it, he'd give it to you. When you would leave, he didn't want you to go empty handed, whether it was food, money. I remember one time he was like, "Well, I'm sending you food," which was like, "Daddy, we got a 3-hour drive. We're just trying to get back home. Well, here's some bottled water. Take the bottled water." I said, "Okay, Daddy, I'll take the bottled water." He just, he was just a loving person. And I'm just going to miss him. I'm going to miss the good times. I mean, even miss the bad times. I mean, I told him, I said, "Daddy, you can't leave. Who's going to tell me what to do?" And he said, "Well, you don't listen anyway." I said, "But yeah, I just need you to tell me what to do. Who am I going to ignore?" I miss his voice. I'm, I'm just going to miss him. I had so much in my mind to say, but it's just gone out the window. At the end of the day, I just loved him, and he loved me. So, Daddy, it's not, my grandma always say, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. So, Daddy, I'll see you later. Have fun with Grandma and Grandpa, and I hope you're up there playing with your big brother. Don't send for me no time soon, though. I got stuff to do down here. Like, please. But I'm gonna open up the mic to everybody else. And again, thank you all for the support, the cards, phone calls, text messages, Facebook posts. Thank you all for being there. And the mic is open for anybody else who feels led to say something. And we have until 2:30.
Just want to give my condolences to the rest of Della's family, to Rachel, her mom, her husband. Just want to make a little quick remark about Jeffrey. Um, he was the type of person that, like Rachel said, would do anything for you. You had you laugh one minute, crying the next. But Jeffrey, I remember I used to go up there and spend during the summer when I was little. I used to go spend some months up in D.C. with the Diggs family, and some months I stayed with the Baylor family. And Jeffrey, at that time, doing contract work, and Jeffrey was, you would get paid for doing his work. But never forget the many times Jeffrey, elderly person, boiler would break or have other electrical issues. Jeffrey said, "Come on, we're going to go do some work." I said, "Well, Jeffrey, I thought you already knocked off for the day." He said, "There's people that need heat, AC, or lights out, water running. We're going to help them out. I'm not looking to get paid for this." And that's the kind of person he was. Didn't mind helping anybody. And also, Jeffrey was tight. If anybody knew Jeffrey, you ever get him started on a conversation, I guess you would get better look at your clock and see how much time you got left. Cause he gonna keep you there for a while, telling stories about different people that he knew. Don't you remember so and so? Yeah, back in 1940. I wasn't born that time, Jeffrey. But I will miss him. Biggest thing, because we had a special bond. Jeffrey said we're not cousins. We're not even first cousins. Jeffrey said you and I are brothers. We're always gonna be brothers. And that's the way he always, when he called me, or we're together, brother, brother, brother. So just remember that we're all gonna miss him. I just talked to him that Sunday, and my George called me Monday. I was at work to say he had passed. And that really took me for a big look. Just want you to know, stay strong, Rachel, family, the rest of the family. Stay strong, but I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna definitely miss him. And one day we will see him again. Thank you.
Short guy this time. Hello, family. My name is Keith Diggs. I was Jeffrey's first cousin. I guess the biggest memories I have with Jeff were 1306 Columbia Road. So many of us, that was a place that we lived. We gathered at Nana's house. And from the age of from when I was born to probably 9 or 10 years old, we were like brothers. We stayed there. We had adventures there. I remember Annette and them were there, on Irene and Carrie were there at one time. Seems like almost everybody came through 1306 Columbia Road at one time. Uh, Jeffrey inherited a couple things from his parents. From Uncle Frank, Jeffrey inherited that memory. He was like a walking family tree, just like Cousin Carrie was saying. He could tell you about people. You remember such and such, and no, you really didn't, but you just let him keep on telling the story because you knew it was gonna be a long story. And from Aunt Jerry, he inherited his cooking skills because Jeff was a good cook. One of the stories I remember about just Jeff and I is we were at Grandma's house, and Jeffrey wanted to go hunting. It was just he and I there at the time. So I can't remember if it was his dad's gun or Grandma's gun. It was an older gun, 20 gauge, single shotgun. And he said, "Come on, Keith, let's go out and see what we can find." I don't even think I carried a gun because I wasn't really interested in shooting and cleaning anything. So we were out in the woods probably about an hour, and we saw, I think, a squirrel. Jeff shot him and missed him. And that gun that he had, when you broke it in half, the shell wouldn't eject. So you had to work to get the shell out. Well, Jeff missed that squirrel, so he found a little stump and he sat on it and he broke that gun in half, got out his pocket knife. About that time, a deer come through, a good sized deer. And when a deer are coming through the woods, sometimes they have a trot to them. And that deer, he just stopped and he looked at Jeff to say, mm. And Jeff was just sitting there with his knife trying to get that shell out the gun and looking at that deer. And by the time he got to shell out, the deer taking off again. But that's one of the stories that stands out for me. But because we're gonna miss you, we love you, Rachel, you and Travis, Brenda. You all stay strong. Um, he was a good guy. He was good at heart. You know, like I said, when we get older, we all go our separate ways, but we still love one another. Love one another. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Nicole Price, and Jeffrey is my godfather. My sister, Nicola's godfather. And I just want to let everyone know that, I mean, not that y'all don't know, but he's definitely a wonderful person. He wasn't always the easiest person to get along with. And Rachel, I guess you got your stubbornness from him. But for some reason, everybody, when Godfather would get in one of his moods, would think that I could talk to him and he would listen to me. um, but he has been there for my sister and I all of our lives. Their home with Aunt Jer and Uncle Frank was actually our first home when we were first born, and I just hold so many memories at 1618 Upshur Street in DC, and I'm just gonna really miss him. We talked often, and like I said, as life would have it, I was in the military, and then at some point at the end of my career, I ended up being stationed up in the DMV area, so we would visit often. So he's watched my children grow up, and just so many stories. And like I said, he would be long winded, and sometimes the phone would ring, and I'd be like, do I want to answer this? And you got to realize, do you have time to talk to Godfather? But I love him so much, and I'm just gonna really really miss him. Just I would give anything to hear that little raspy voice or hear him sing. Oh my goodness, I just remember him singing to my daughter Mia is 12 now, but she was a baby, and he would just with her in the little rocker, he would just sing and sing, and she would just calm down and just listen to him. He had a sweet spirit. Like I said, he wasn't always tactful, but he meant well. So Rachel and Travis and Brenda, if y'all need anything, just please call me. And I love you all. Rest in peace.
Hi, I'm Rita, Jeffrey's first cousin. Also, he's got a whole lot of first cousins. But at any rate, I don't know how many of you all know, but Jeffrey was my first fiance. He had a box of Cracker Jacks, and the ring was in his. He got that ring out and put it on my finger and asked me to marry him. Boy, I tell you, who knew? Who knew? But also, had such a bond; it was unreal. um, I had someone had given me some money when I was a little girl, and we were down Grandma Wooden's house, and I tore my $20 bill in half so Jeffrey could have half of my birthday present. And I had no idea the value of $20 then, but I just know that whatever I had, I wanted Jeff to have also. We had so much fun playing and summer staying, and um, like I said, Nicole and Nicolette were born in DC, so Jeffrey was there with me every step of the way, even when the doctor told me I couldn't get in the bathtub because I wouldn't be able to get out on my own. I hollered and screamed for Jeffrey so loud one day he was outside washing the car, and he finally came in, and I said, "Hey, where are you? Where are you?" I said, "I'm in the tub, but I can't get out." He said, "Well, what you gonna do?" I said, "You're gonna have to come in here and get me." I can't come in there. I said, Jeff, just put the towel over your face or whatever. Just give me a hand. Reach your hand out and I can get out. He did that, and boy, I never seen somebody so embarrassed in all my life. But he did it. He just had that kind of heart. He always would do anything, like everybody else has said, for anybody. And I'm just so at peace knowing that he's there with Andrea and Uncle Frank and Eric right now. He is so at peace right now. And I'm happy about that. And I just love Jeffrey so much. And Rachel and Brenda and Travis, y'all bond together. Always stay tight because Jeff is going to be watching y'all. I'm telling you right now. And I love y'all.
Let's hope the mic gets down far enough for this short person. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Though the circumstances are sorrowful, we are here to celebrate Jeff and to celebrate the life we had with him. And that's a wonderful thing. I'm telling you, I'm very full. So I might not get through this too well. But I recall Jeff in occasions like this when he would get up to speak. And most of you know what I'm going to say. Jeff would say, well, they told me I only had about 2 minutes, but I'm going to take all the time I need. Well, I can tell you, Jeff, in this case, I don't need much time. But what can I say? Wonderful nephew, wonderful father, uncle, friend, godfather, you name it. Yeah, we all have a demon or two. Sometimes people know about our demons, and we knew a little bit about his. But a lot of us have them, and you don't know about them. But we all have them somewhere. So we were, Jeff was loved unconditionally. Demons aside, little, big, or small, because of what everybody has talked about, that heart. Just such a loving, giving person. And I helped to raise him a little bit because, see, I was a teenager. And when I used to get a lot of you, as you may recall, my nieces and nephews, and I would be the babysitter for the occasion. Uh, the one thing I do recall is Jeffrey never gave me a problem. Can't say that about each and every one of you sitting out there, but never gave me, and he was always willing to, if other kids had things that they were playing with, he was always willing to let them have whatever he had. So you're going to hear, probably anyone else comes up, you're going to hear the repetition. Giving, loving, very much so. And a couple of things some people don't know. Jeff had a wonderful singing voice. And I used to love to hear him sing. I didn't even know he could sing until I was married and away, had gone to college and moved away and came home and was in the house one day and he was singing. So he took that, I guess, after, of course, after his father. But I miss Jeff from the time that I got Rachel's call. Uh, and we'll continue to miss him. But praise God, he gives us time to heal our wounds so that we'll still have the holes that are created by the loss of a loved one don't go away. They don't close up. You just learn to adapt and deal with it in a different way, and deal with it in a way that tears become replaced by smiles of the memories and the wonderful times you had together. And that's what we all will focus on. He left us a great legacy. I had the pleasure of knowing him for all 62 years. So I have 62 years of memory, as long as my memory holds out, I guess. But obviously that's going to wane as time goes on. But Jeff had, I think it was Keith who mentioned the wonderful memory. He could take you way back, take you way, way back. But my husband, who is the spokesperson really in this immediate family, wanted to be here, but he had a long-standing commitment in Nebraska, and so he could not make it. He wanted me to extend. He even sent me a quick, and I'll read what he sent me because he wanted to actually be here to make comments himself. It's very short. He said, "Our nephew was blessed with exceptional parents, a beautiful and high achieving daughter, wonderful grandparents, a host of uncles, aunts, cousins, godchildren, and friends. And he himself had intellect, lots of passion, and was a dynamic personality. Even when occasional demons sometimes made him difficult, as his goddaughter said when we saw her, the lovely uh, text that she sent, his heart was always in the right place. Always. Good, bad, in different kind of days. His heart, you knew you were dealing with a person, and of course a man. From childhood, as a child, big heart, grew into manhood, kept a big heart. So we're going to miss this big heart, but we're going to love him, and he'll be loving us, and we'll have all those wonderful memories to help carry us through what is a difficult time. But it is a time that will become, like I said, the tears will get replaced by smiles, and you'll still have tears 10 years from now. Certain incidents will make those happen, but you've reached a place where there's peace. And what we're so happy and what we celebrate today is that has peace and joy, and that we all can celebrate for him and for ourselves. God bless you all, and thank you for coming.
Good afternoon, family. Bring you greetings on behalf of the Holloway family. We have our family prayer. We've been having family prayer ever since COVID started. We meet on Saturday mornings, and we have indeed been lifting up the Wooden and the Bailey family. I think about Jeffrey. I wasn't that close with him, but what I remember about Jeffrey, whenever we would have homecoming, Morning Star, I thought he was just the coolest brother. I wanted to be like him so bad. I mean, I just thought he was cool. Um, but while we have been distant because life takes us in a whole lot of different directions, I want the family to know that we are praying for you. We love you. Our hearts are saddened, but we know that there's going to be a day when all of our hearts will be gladdened again. So we look forward to that day when all of God's children will come together. But while we're still on this side, my brothers and sisters, my family, we need to meet more than just on occasions like this. God willing, if people would just listen, we can get through COVID and we can all come back together again. I'm looking for that time. I have been doing some scanning of all of our family photos. I went through the whole collection that my mother had. I've got pictures that I want to share with y'all. I got pictures of folks when they got married. I got pictures of folks when they were having babies and all of that. So we are connected, uh, not just by community, but through blood. So we love you, and just know that we're lifting you up in prayers. And not only that, if it's anything we can do, let us know. I got to meet you, Rachel. Connie, my sister, made sure that we have something for you. All right, thank you.
Afternoon, everybody. Uh, Probably wouldn't be a good son-in-law if I didn't get up here and speak. Huh? I know Jeff is up there now, kicking me in my butt, telling me to get up there, say something about me. So yeah, no. Like I said, I married into this family, and ever since I've been here, before I even put the ring on Rachel's finger, he was calling me son. This, yeah, Jeff loved me to death, and I definitely love Pops too. I'm just so thankful that he gave me such a wonderful woman. She is truly a blessing, and he definitely gave her that stubborn life and that stubborn soul. And he taught her one thing that she always reminds me. He says that people are only going to treat you the way that you let them treat you, and that's something that he passed on to her because he was just like, don't let nobody treat you any kind of way. And I definitely appreciate him doing that because that's carried her through a lot of her successes in life. And like I said, it's been a crazy 12 years with Jeff, with Pops. He's definitely taken us through some things, and like I said, we had good times when we had bad times. And I mean, like I said, he's just was a great man, and he will be truly missed. And I'm thankful to see everyone that came out here to just share this occasion with us because it means a lot to me and Rachel and moms. But yeah, like I say, I'm not a great speaker. I didn't even come with a speech because I just was like, I don't even know what to say because it definitely was a shock to us. We got the phone call in the morning, and that's just one of those phone calls that you don't look forward to. But like I said, that we weren't ready for this. But like I had to tell Rachel that day, I was like, the good thing is that he's with mom. He's with his dad. He's at peace because he was hurting, and like all of us were hurting in December, just 9 months ago, we were all hurting, and we could tell he was hurting too. But I know deep in my heart that he is definitely at peace now to be with his family. So we're very thankful for the time that we had with him. I will miss his raspy voice and the bouts that him and Rachel had on the phone all the time, yelling back and forth to each other. I swear she would be yelling, and you'd be thinking that he was in the house with her. But they definitely had their the two hard heads. Was it a movable force meets unstoppable, whatever? Yeah, those two just all the time. But she loved him no matter what. But like I said again, just thankful that for everyone that came out here. We gotta, like my brother said, we gotta make sure we come out here on more occasions. Though get together on more occasions than this. But definitely love all of y'all, and pray that everyone has a great day. And like I said, we still got a little time left. So if you feel led to come up, please come up. Thank you.
Someone in the back may have noticed that the elders were pointing at me. By elders, I mean Gwen, saying, "Get up there, get up there." I think what she's going at is that we're double first cousin with Jeff, so she probably feel like we should say something. So, and I got a crack in my voice, but I think everybody understands the situation. But I was sitting there thinking, like, what would we say about Jeff? What would we say? And I think I was surprised that no one had shared the story about going fishing. So the aunts and uncles, they were going to head out, I think it was Mr. Graves, with the boat. And a lot of the cousins around, they didn't want the children to go. They had an adult fishing trip. So I go, where Jeffrey? Where Jeff go? Can't nobody find Jeffrey. Got to looking. Jeffrey done hid up under the front part of the boat because he was going to go fishing. So that was one of the funny things that I always remember about Jeff. Another one, and I can't believe it wasn't said, because I didn't witness it, but I got the first-hand story with Kerry. Jeffrey had just started driving. And he had his dad's like old pea soup green Torino. Jeff was proud of that car. That was his car. And they were at the parking lot. What y'all go to the movies, Kerry? And he went to leave. Jeff had threw his arm up on the seat, looked back and rolled the wheel. Don't come on. Kerry said the whole Volkswagen come off the ground. Jeff hit that Volkswagen. But it's all good. It's fun. We love Jeff. Like a lot of Keith said, I think a lot of our experiences when we were little. So that's what we really relate to as things go on in life. We go to school, we get jobs. We just don't get together like we should, like Cousin Joe was saying. But but we're gonna miss this. But one thing we do remember is, and I've learned this over the years, you may have lost in physical, but spiritually you have not lost it. Because I tell people all the time that dead ain't gonna win. Because I find myself doing the things that he taught us. And at the time, it doesn't affect me like I'm trying to tell you guys. But I'd be smiling happy dead ain't gonna win. And so, Rachel, it's not going nowhere, baby. You will find the times he already said you act like. So every time a situation comes up, you're going to find yourself imitating and not even realizing. And then after the fact, you will go, I guess there it is. So, you guys keep strong. And like I said, we love you. We love you guys. Anything we can do for you, Keith and Sharon, I think, are the next closest to her. Me, Joe, and Gwen to Jeff. So we were double first cousin. I guess Keith and Sharon are sort of like cousin and a half. I don't know how y'all want to put that. Yeah, 3/4. Okay, so yeah, it's good to see the family too as well. And we all know that Earth has no sorrow. Yeah, thank you. It is well, it is well with my soul.
Good afternoon, everyone. Um, my name is Tammy Dawkins, and I'm another first cousin, uh, really god sister. Jeffrey was my god brother. And I just have a couple of memories too. And I concur with all the memories people have been saying about Jeffrey and his kind, his loving heart, and just a real generous person. But I have childhood memories on Columbia Road, Mrs. Rogers' house, um, running, chasing Jeffrey around that circular staircase that was in the middle of that townhouse. You could see from the third floor all the way down, and you just run around and around, and that's what we did, having a lot of fun. Um, and then he moved to Upshur Street, which was very close to our house. And had a lot of memories, but one in particular that no one has said, I don't think, is Jeffrey and I were only a little over a year apart, but to me, Jeffrey seemed so much older. So I remember, as I think a young child, going over to Uncle Frank's house in the hallway, looking into the kitchen, and seeing Jeffrey sitting around the kitchen table with a cup of coffee, talking with the older adults about the good old days. And we were, I said, how old is Jeffrey? So, at that point, he's like an old soul, he's a young old soul. But I think he always appeared that way to me, just wise beyond his years. So, but he was a wonderful person. And he was always telling me about his babies, his god babies, asking me about my babies, and my babies are almost 30 years old. But it's a loss. It's a huge loss for our family. And Brenda, Rachel, Travis, we love you all. Anything we can do, let us know. But we do need to come together as families more, and not just on these occasions. Jeffrey, brother, I'm gonna miss you. I love you. We all love you. And thank you for all the wonderful memories. And our Father gives you a lot of wisdom, and you'll treasure that all these days. And it'll stick with you just like this. So, God bless you. Thank you so much. Even so, it is well with
Good afternoon, everyone. As everybody probably knows, at least the family, I'm a lady of few words. But I would be remiss if I did not come up here today and say something about my big dad. I call him brother because he's my mother's brother's child, and my daddy's sister's child. So it makes me double cousin, as well as your dream play. And I used to tell, I told Jeffrey, as far as his sister is concerned, I'm it, unless Aunt Frank and Aunt Mary are still experienced. And I didn't think that was going to happen. And just like typical siblings, we had our little headbutt and spats, but we always ended with, "I love you, girl. I love you, sis." And when I would go to the house, stop by at 1816 Upshur, he would have friends over, and he'd always introduce me and say, "That's Gwen. That's my sister." And I felt really proud of that, knowing that he really accepted me as his big sister. And Jeffrey always had a kind heart. He really had a giving heart. He would always find something to send down to Dad and Mom. It might be something out of the freezer, something you never heard of, like monkfish. I remember he set this fish down, monkfish. You never heard any monkfish, but we ate it anyway. And Jeffrey would just be missed. So often, I mean, since he's been gone, I've been thinking, let me go to the telephone and call Jeff. Because I can't call him. So I got to get over all of that, as I know you all do. And we will, it won't get easier as time goes on. Well, it will get easier, but it will not ever leave you. You're always going to miss him. So I said to you all, be strong, keep your hand in God's hand, and he will take you through this storm.
Well, I think I've been married too long because I'm starting to act like my husband. I don't like to sit too long in silence. But everybody was talking about fishing stories, and it just reminded me of one funny one with him because to this day I can't swim. Can't swim. I can float, but I can't swim. And my daddy loved to take me fishing. And so one of his friends had a beach house, and he'd take me out onto the pier, and he had my little Mickey Mouse um, fishing rod. And we went out to the pier, and he was like, Rachel, don't go out too far. I don't want you to fall in. And I'm like, okay, daddy. And the whole time he keeps telling me, move back from the edge, move back from the edge. I don't want you to fall in. I said, okay, daddy. Well, needless to say, long story short, I didn't catch not one fish. And the only person that ended up in the water was him. He fell in the water. But the whole time he was like, don't get too close. I was like, okay, daddy. But yeah, so he ended up wet, and all the time he he said, "You go fishing yet?" I said, "No, daddy," because now we're around water constantly. And he actually came down one time to the house, and he bought me a fishing rod. And I said, "Daddy, I'm not gonna go fishing because Travis ain't gonna take me, and I need to go fishing with somebody that can swim, even if they're the ones that end up in the water." And he would always call and ask, "Did y'all go fishing yet?" And that fishing rod is still sitting in the corner of the garage to this day because somebody don't want to go fishing. But there's so many more funny stories with him. He just he could just keep you laughing about everything. And the one thing about him, it got to a point where I started to think he knew everybody because we would go to the store in DC. He was like, "She looked familiar." I said, "Daddy, you don't know that lady, but she looked familiar. Just hold on." And then he go tap on the shoulder, say, "Ma'am, do I know you?" He would have a whole conversation with the lady, and by the end of the day, he either knew the mama, the daddy, the auntie, the uncle, the cousin, grandmama, somebody he knew the person that he saw. And it amazed me because I was like, how does this man know so many people? And he would call and he say, "They messed up my paperwork again. I'm gonna call down there. I'm gonna do this and do that. I'm assuming." And I'm like, "Daddy, don't go to war with the government, please." And in my head, I'm like, how is, but he would always call back and said, "They don't know. I know so and so." And lo and behold, whatever he was arguing about, whatever he was upset about, they got it fixed the next day after he made whatever phone call to whoever he made. And that's what I loved about him because I was just like, I don't know how you know so many people. Like, I just don't understand it. And to know him was just to love him. Like, his heart was so big that you had to see beyond the flaws because he was just a great person to know and to be around. And again, like Travis said, we're waiting for some more family to come down because they weren't able to make it to the service up in DC. But if you don't feel led to say anything up here, please feel free to talk among yourselves. And if you feel like you have to go, that is completely fine and understandable because this wasn't supposed to be a service. It was just a chance for everybody to um, say their see you laters because, we all understand that it was very sudden and just caught us all off guard. But again, thank you all for coming, and hopefully we can get together again on nicer, more peaceful terms.
Why, why should my heart feel lonely? And long, heaven, home. When, when Jesus is my portion. Ah, a constant friend, constant friend is He. Oh, his eyes on the sparrow. Oh yes, I know he watches. Oh, yeah. Hey, I sing, I sing because I tell thee, hallelujah. I sing because I'm free. I'm free. I know his eyes. Ooh, his eyes is on the sparrow. Oh, yes, he is. I know
Well, it's close to closing time. Um, Thank you, family and friends and loved ones, for coming out. Thank you for all of your remarks. Thank you for the memories. We're now going to end the service. Thank you for all who traveled far and near. Please take your time out there and get home safely. And I can't wait to see you all on better terms and happier times. Y'all have a blessed evening.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.